Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we help you understand all the latest updates of the stock markets, what's really buzzing in trade today in terms of sectors and stocks, and what should be your investment strategy as you approach these current markets, which are very, very volatile as we speak. We'll also be joined by an expert. But first up, a quick check of how the markets are doing post the halftime. So you're actually seeing very flattish move on both the benchmarks Nifty and the Sensex, about 10-point decline on the Nifty, 18,487. That's absolutely flat with a 0.05% downtick that you can actually see. On the Sensex, it's 62,123 as a fine print, 59 points of a cut right there. Absolutely flat with a negative bias for that one too. But we've definitely come off those opening lows, and that's something that's looking brighter at this point in time. In terms of the sectors and the broader markets as well, so the broader markets are actually doing better. They are in the green right now, doing slightly better, of 0.2% higher for the small caps and the mid cap index as well, in case you see. So that's where the bright spot you can really spot. In terms of the other sectors, the Nifty Bank is inching slightly higher today. We're also seeing some gains in the metals pack. So the steel prices are up about 2 months high as well. That's pushing the metal index higher. 0.4% of an uptick for that one. So the metals are shining quite bright in the halftime trade. Also, when you talk about the realty space stocks, those are back after the heavy profit booking that we saw in the last week as well. 0.5% uptick for this one. The PSU banks, private banks and the financial services also inching up higher into the green. Autos are absolutely flat today. What's taking a drubbing today is the IT stocks, that's down by 0.4% odd. FMCG also in tow, slightly seeing the decline, and the pharma counters. So the entire defensive pack, the FMCG, IT and pharma, all of them in red today. But what's really doing well is again your same banking names, the realty names and the metals pack that's supporting the indices and the movement today. In terms of the advanced decline ratio, you do have slight tilt towards the bulls today. 28 stocks of the Nifty 50 stocks in the green, whereas 22 stocks still in the red zone right here. Which are the top gainers that you're finding in the top stocks as far as the Nifty index is concerned? You can see some of those pharma names. Divis Laboratories up by 2%. Coal India 1.5% up in trade. ONGC, so those oil and gas names definitely up in the trade today. IndusInd Bank, ONGC and Tata Steel, the other names. Nestle also coming up, Dr. Reddy's as well. So despite the overall decline in the pharma index, you can still find some spots that are bright and among the top stocks, moving stocks as far as the Nifty index is concerned, or the gainers are concerned. On the losing side, you have Asian Paints that's down by 2%, Eicher Motors in the slower lane, 1.5% down in trade, Infosys down by 1.4% odd, and again Titan, Sun Pharma, those are the stocks that are not looking good today, 1% down each. Cipla also down in trade. So mixed reaction as far as the pharma stocks are concerned. IT stocks definitely dragging a bit, and the consumption names also seeing some kind of a decline right here. Let's welcome our guest for the day. Nilesh Jain joins in from Centrum Broking. He's the head of technicals and derivatives at Centrum Broking. Welcome, Nilesh, and thank you so much for taking the time out. Well, another week has started off on a very cautious note. We do see that the cues are awaited from the US Fed and then Bank of England. We also had the European Central Bank. There could be some rate hikes coming in heavily in this week alone. So is that the cause of concern right here as far as the macros are concerned? Or do we see domestic factors really supporting the market sentiments as we move along?
A very good afternoon to you, Sakshi. Well, you have rightly mentioned there are multiple events lined up. The major one is Fed outcome, which is scheduled on Wednesday. And ahead of that, looking at the global market, which are indicating a cautious trade so far, start of the week. And our markets are certainly showing some sort of a resilience, as we have seen buying interest coming in from the lower levels, 18,340. That was the level which Nifty made in today's trading session, and we have witnessed a sharp recovery of close to 150 points. So that basically indicates that our domestic cues are very much in the positive side. And if at all we see any further decline, that can be used as a buying opportunity as long as Nifty trades above 18,000 mark. Overall, the broader structure continues to remain bullish. We still need to wait and watch out for FOMC meet outcome. Post then we might get more clarity on the market. Global market, as far as US markets are concerned, which are indicating slightly on a negative side, and the trend looks slightly on a weaker side. So that is still a cause of concern. As far as Bank Nifty is concerned, we are witnessing an outperformance, and it has also hit fresh new all-time high levels on Friday. Now, looking at the overall structure, we continue to remain bullish on Bank Nifty banking space. And Bank Nifty may inch towards 44,000. That's the next immediate target that we are expecting. Any decisive breakout above 44,000 will open upside for 44,500 to 44,800. Lastly, India Week's volatility index ahead of the major event, we haven't seen any sort of spike. So that clearly indicates there may not be any major downtick going forward, and we may see some sideways move with slightly positive bias.
Okay, understood that. Well, also on our top radar today is some of the banking names. They have been up and running, and how the entire last 1 or 2 odd months, especially the PSU banking space. But what's also interesting to note here is that top global brokerage firms are now turning quite bullish on the banking space. We are seeing, especially on some of the top names, the brokerage houses have actually raised their targets. Say, for example, for the top major HDFC Bank, top leading private major, the target prices by UBS broking house have been raised from 1750 earlier to 1900 now. Apart from this, we also see that Punjab National Bank, which has been a beleaguered stock, we've seen a whole lot of wealth destruction on this stock, but JP Morgan is now turned positive. It has upgraded the stock to overweight rating. Now the target prices have also been raised very, very sharply from 34 to 72. Now the stock has been up and running in the last few trading sessions as well. IndusInd Bank, there's again a Jeffries report right here, which has now given a buy rating on the stock, and the target price has increased to 1600 per share as well. Apart from this, we are also seeing some move on Yes Bank today. A very sharp move in the last few trading sessions, and again about a 7% increase in today's trading session as well. In fact, it has touched a 52-week high as well of 21.15, and that is after the private lender has actually got the RBI is not to raise capital from Carlyle and Vivanta Holdings as well. So the stock has been buzzing like never before. And I want to understand from you, Nilesh, how are you looking at this entire banking space as a whole, both the private banks and the PSU banks? We are seeing a huge comeback of the PSU bank on the one hand, on the back of fundamentals, the earnings improving, and the macros also supporting the sentiments right here. Private banks, after being underperformers for the last 2 years, are now finally seeing the move and catching up onto the party as well. Your thoughts on the banking space, and how should investors really approach this space, and some of your favorites as well?
Well, actually, as I mentioned at the beginning, that the Bank Nifty looks strong, and immediate target that we are expecting of 44,000, maybe in a day or two, we might see Bank Nifty heading towards 44,000 mark. And there was a lot of underperformance in the PSU banking space in past couple of months. Now, recently, in last couple of months, we have seen PSU banking have started joining the rally. So that is certainly a positive sign. Looking at the few PSU names that are looking very strong on the chart, State Bank of India that continues to remain a preferred bet from the PSU banking space for the upside target of 650 to 700. And apart from that, Canara Bank and Bank of Baroda, the other PSU banking space that we are the counter that we are liking from the PSU banking space. So overall, looking at the structure of the private sector bank now, counters like HDFC Bank, which has been the underperformer in the Bank Nifty space, being heavyweight, now that particular counter has started joining the rally. In fact, that has started to lead the rally. Now, the overall structure hints that HDFC Bank is heading towards its previous all-time high mark of 1706, and post that 1750 is the next target that we are expecting. So HDFC Bank is a good buy at current level and on decline. Add as a portfolio bet for the upside target of 1700 to 1750 on near term. Apart from that, IndusInd Bank, considering the fact that it is one of the highly volatile counter from the private sector bank, so we are getting more comfort in HDFC Bank. But yes, those who are already holding the IndusInd Bank can continues to remain put in this particular counter for the upside target of 1250 to 1300 in the near term. Lastly, Yes Bank, certainly yes, we have seen some sort of attraction in last couple of days, and finally it has given a rounding bottom pattern breakout. I would say a multi-year breakout can be seen on the chart, and this counter is heading towards 24 to 26 level in the near term. So looks positive from a trading buy perspective, not a positional buy, but given the fact that it has already given a good and a sharp run up in last two trading session, one should avoid creating any aggressive longs at current level. Wait for some decline. Post then can be bought for a trading bet as a 24 and 26 target.
Okay, don't get carried away with the move that we are seeing right here. Still remain cautious at this point in time. But among the top private majors, in case you're looking for an opportunity, HDFC Bank is definitely on the preferred list of Nilesh right here. Nilesh, stay on with us. We'll just get Tanya in. Tanya Aneja joins in. She's our colleague, and she'll help us understand which are the stocks that are really buzzing in trade today in terms of the news flows and in terms of the kind of action that we are seeing in terms of stock movement as well. Tanya, over to you.
Absolutely, Sakshi. So let's start with Yes Bank first. So shares of Yes Bank were up nearly 7% today, and the stock hit its 52-week high, as you rightly pointed out. And the stock has been in news after the RBI gave an conditional approval to propose investments by CA Basque Investments and Verventa Holdings. The bank had on Friday said that it received two further letters from the RBI in relation to the proposed investment. Then we have Vatek Vabag. The shares were up to the tune of 12% today, and the stock also hit its 52-week high today. After Vabag Water Services SRL, that is its European subsidiary, secured a repeat order from the Purolite SRL worth 260 crore rupees for upgrading an industrial wastewater treatment plant in Romania. Then we have Hindustan Oil Exploration. The shares were up to the tune of 5% today, and the stock even ended its 4 day losing streak after the company said that it has resumed oil production from D1 well in its B80 field located in Western Offshore after arresting a leak in the SSV control line. And lastly, we have Paytm on our list today. The shares of Paytm were trading lower in today's trading session, and that is even after the company reported a 150% jump in its October November loan distribution at 6.8 million, with the annualized run rate for the loan distribution business standing at 39,000 crore rupees. Now, besides this, the company also said that it now has over 5.5 million devices. Back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Tanya, for sharing all that update with us. Nilesh, any of the stocks discussed by Tanya on your top radar as well?
Well, as we mentioned, yes, bank certainly it is in the momentum, and the momentum looks strong. We are expecting this move to continue towards 24 to 26. And overall, from the in the banking space, we continue to remain bullish on HDFC Bank and also ICICI Bank and Axis Bank. So the
Sure.
focus on the banking space, specifically private sector bank.
Okay, and what do you have to say on Vatek Vabag? The stock has hit a 52-week high intraday. It's the biggest single day gain that we have seen since June 11 of 2021. Volumes are also quite high. It's moving at a 20-day average trading volume as well. Your thoughts on Vatek Vabag?
Looks positive. Multi-month breakout can be seen on the daily time frame chart, and it looks like it is heading towards 400 mark on immediate basis. And if at all it reaches 400, that is that was the high that it made in the August 2021. And post that breakout, it will be considered as a rounding bottom formation breakout, and the target will be revised to 450 to 500. Looks very strong at current level as well. One can buy on decline for the immediate target of 400 post 450, and the support, I would say, stop loss should be placed at 340.
Okay, let's move to the primary market space as well, as there is a huge buzzing action that we've seen start from last 2 weeks itself, and even in this week. Right this week, we are seeing Sula Vineyards now here open for subscription for all the subscribers right there. This IPO, in fact, has opened for bidding today, and it will remain open for bidding until 14th of December. India's largest wine producer and seller. It's the first pure play winemaker that is looking to get listed on the stock markets quite soon. The company aims to raise 960 odd crore rupees. It is a complete offer for sale that the investors can look for, and the price band has been fixed between 340 to 357 rupees per equity share. Nilesh, your thoughts on Sula Vineyards as an IPO as well as a potential opportunity for investors? Do you see a merit here?
Well, Sakshi, this was much awaited breakout, much awaited IPO that was on radar. And if you look at the pros and cons of the IPO, starting with the cons first, the offer is entirely for offer for sale, as you have rightly mentioned, and the company will not be getting any proceed from the issue that could be used for expansion purpose or repayment of the debt. So that certainly adds some sort of a risk that one needs to be keep on radar. And given the fact that promoter holding is also very less, so in this kind of scenario, one needs to be cautious because the company is only coming out with the IPO to get listed. And if we talk about the pros for the company, there are various entry barriers in this particular segment. And given the fact that this particular company has a largest is the largest producer and seller of the wine, so it can capture huge amount of market going forward, given the fact that domestic wine market is on the verge of exponential growth going forward. and it is also the largest distribution in terms of network as far as Indian market is concerned. So all these factors are definitely supporting the valuation. If you look at PE valuation, which is comparatively lesser compared to the listing peers like UBL and the McDowell United Spirit. So these are trading at high valuation. So comparatively, it looks good, but risk factor is also there. So one needs to be, keep in mind. Post listing, if at all we see any correction, that could be the good opportunity. From a listing perspective, minor listing can be seen, but one needs to be, it's sort of high risk and high reward sort of opportunity.
Okay, understood that. So high risk, high reward kind of an investor can definitely look at this space, but definitely post listing, it could be seen as a potential opportunity as well. Nilesh, also help me understand your specific stock recommendations if you have for all the viewers for this week.
Well, Sashi, we have been bullish on OMC stocks. We have covered in our previous interaction as well. OMC stocks on the back of falling crude oil prices is certainly, in favor. And now, if you look at counters like HPCL, BPCL are also looking positive. So we are going long in HPCL for the upside target of 260 to 265 on immediate basis. Stop loss can be kept at 242. And apart from that, Coal India is another counter which is making a high top and high bottom formation. And now it has given a fresh breakout on a daily time frame from a consolidation. Looks positive for 250 on immediate target. One can keep a stop loss below 225. And these are the counters which has a high dividend yield as well. So from a longer term perspective, if somebody wants to hold, then can continue to remain long from a long term perspective as well for a good dividend yield.
Okay, HPCL up 12.5% in today's trading action. Very strong move right there. The target price has been given as 255 right for that one. And for Coal India, the target price shared by Nilesh is 250 rupees. Stop loss is also shared with you. Well, thank you so much, Nilesh, for being with us on the show and discussing all these particular stocks and sharing your insights on the markets going forward too. With that, let's quickly look at how the markets are looking at this point in time. A quick check before we wind down the show. A 98-point cut for the Sensex, 62,083 is the current level. Nifty also down by about 18, 19 odd points. 18,477 is what you can really look at. The Nifty currently trading amid a lot of choppiness that we've been witnessing through the large part of the day so far. But anything or any sign of a reversal in the second half is something that we will continue to watch out for. Although the experts do believe that the macro indicators will largely be bigger triggers for the markets and the movement that we may see right there. Remember, the FPIs have also been net sellers on the Friday's trading session as well, although minute selling coming about there. So we'll keep an eye out on how the markets really move and the flows really move amid all these, big decisions that are likely to come out this week and may impact the global markets and therefore the Indian markets as well. And with that, we wrap up this edition, but do stay tuned on to Business Today TV for a whole lot more news and update from the world of business and stock markets. Many thanks for tuning in for now.